Hi everybody, it's Mariana and welcome to my channel. You're watching Lucifer's Library. In today's video, we are tackling the books that I have to read in July. So in July we have quite a big stack of books to read. If you want to know which ones they are, you can watch my July TBR. Like I said, it's July 1st, it's the beginning of the month, and I really want to start out strong because June wasn't really that good of a reading month. I read the first half of June and then the second half I had driving lessons, so it was just like a constant, and that took a lot out of me, so I didn't read at all. First, like I said, we have The Storm. This is a transfer from June. I finished 4 chapters. I'm on chapter 5, 49 pages in out of 370 something. It's so hot outside, but it's getting cloudy, so I think there's gonna be a storm. And I finished The Storm. Basically, if you don't know, this is the second book to the Rain duology. And it's about the rain becoming really toxic and killer, and one drop will kill you. And it follows the perspective of a teenager as well. She's 15 years old, and the first time I read it I was like, oh my god, prioritize. The world has gone to shit and all you want to do is dye your hair, get a fake tan, get makeup. Listen, this time around I'm just enjoying it for what it is. I see the deeper stuff, even though I was more frustrated with this book when I read it as a teenager than I am now as an adult, because I get it. Like I get, you know, being hormonal and not having your brain fully developed and not reacting the way adults would. I get that. I could rate it 3.5 stars. I could also rate it 4 stars. I don't remember particularly liking The Storm, but I think I am going to rate it 3.5 stars just because the first half of the book was very slow. The second half was good. It feels a little bit unresolved, that's why I'm going to give it 3.5. It has hit me a little bit emotionally. I'm not having a good day. It does affect my mental health. And then reading this book, I like it when a book makes me feel something, but I think I took it really personally. Yeah, it just affected my mental health even when reading it. So I think I'm gonna rate it 3.5 stars, and this is my first read of July. It's also the finish of my reread of The Rain and The Storm duologies. And I've been saying I wanted to reread these for like 2-3 years, and I finally did, and I feel really proud of myself for that. Then up here we have the books that I am supposed to read. I could read Shift right now. I did pick it up yesterday. I am 78 pages in out of almost 600 pages. I don't feel like reading a fantasy right now. Do I want to pick any of these books up? I know this is gonna be a fast read. Something keeps falling. This room, I think I have ghosts in my room. I'm avoiding Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, but I also know this one's gonna be a slow read because the first book, Woe, was a slow starter. And this one also feels like a slow starter, but it's getting better. I'm almost 100 pages in. So far, am I enjoying it more than I am Woe? I don't think so. But I do think this one has potential. I'm feeling mentally better today than I did yesterday, but I'm feeling physically worse. I just feel like somebody punched me a couple of times. So anyway, yesterday I finished The Storm, the second book to The Rain, and today I'm reading Perfect Addiction by Claudia Tan. Movie is also in the works for it. It is a Wattpad published book, so I need to finish my arc for that. Book release is on July 19th. You know what's funny? It's really funny how a book that you picked up, if it's a depressing book, how much it can affect your energy and your life if you're already in a bad mood. Because yesterday I was already feeling very triggered in the morning, and like my anxiety was really bad, and then I went offline. I read The Storm and it just didn't help my mental health at all. But I'm feeling better today. I just needed to sleep it off a little bit, I think. Yeah, but it's interesting. I think if I read a different book yesterday, it wouldn't have been as bad as it was. And that's my little update. I'm gonna go to the balcony. I'm gonna read Perfect Addiction. Boccia struccia. I love you. Bit. 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 Go. Bye bye. Oh, she's staying. My precious little baby. My precious little baby. I think based on the wall behind me, you can already tell something has changed, and I'm gonna show you what. So when you first walk in, here's my bed. I also need to redo all of the shelves. I just needed a little bit of a change, so I completely redid my room yesterday on a whim, on an impulse, in a heat wave. Like, I almost had a heat stroke, I'm not kidding. As I was like repainting this, because it had a couple of scars, I almost collapsed. I'm not kidding. I felt like I was overheating. Very dizzy and hot all over and sweaty, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I just collapsed on the bed and waited like 10 minutes for it to be over. So it's the end of the week. I'm not sure if I filmed last week or this week. Maybe 2 weeks have gone by. It's July 8th. And yeah, I have no idea where I'm left. But I think I vlogged last when I finished The Storm. And then I am currently reading 3 books. I read 362 pages 2 days ago across 3 different books. So it's been crazy. I haven't even put a dent in my TBR. Heir of Fire, the book that I was supposed to read last month. I'm currently 67 pages in. I'm enjoying it. It's getting better. I am reminded why I love this world so much, or actually why I love this book. But again, nothing has started happening yet, so I need to kind of push through. So second, I read 137 pages of Shift. This story is basically split into shifts. Instead of part 1, part 2, part 3, you have shift 1, shift 2, shift 3, and they are different stories following different characters. Now, the first story was a drag in the beginning, but towards the end it was interesting. This is the second book. Wool I read, I think, 2 years ago. Wool was a lot better. I know I haven't even finished it yet, but with this one, I know that I have to push through in order to love it. However, do I have the patience for it with how much I didn't like the first part? I think I might just DNF this entire trilogy, take it off my TBR and move on. Because at this point, I've been avoiding this book, finally picked it up, and it's just not doing it for me. I know that I might regret it in the future. I gave it a shot. It didn't work out. That means I can take all 3 books off my shelves. They look so pretty though. Wool, Shift, and Dust. My sister doesn't want them. She tried the audiobooks and she was like, nope, don't like the narration, and then she completely DNF'd the entire book, the first one. So it's fine. Now you may notice that since we last talked, I also redid a little bit of my room, my bookshelf, and you know, everything's different. This shelf in particular behind me is my TBR shelf, and let me tell you, the only books from my collection on my TBR shelf are these. I have 2 shelves, only 2 shelves left of books to read. Only 2 shelves. Once I finish my physical TBR, I can finally start buying books. Yeah, we're making progress. Listen, this year I told myself I want to finish my physical TBR. Then I was like, oh my god, this is so much pressure. I don't want to do this. And now I'm feeling really happy because we have only 2 shelves. The rest of the books that I own are read. I'm still doing rereads even though I'm reading books from my physical library. I've updated you on Heir of Fire, which I'm still gonna be continuing. I have DNF'd Wool. Sorry about the sun, I can't do anything about it, I'm not God. And then moving on, we go to Kindle, which I received an ARC. It's called Perfect Addiction. Movie's gonna be out, I think, next year. And let me tell you, I'm currently 30% in. If I had more time, I would have read more. One night, I was just like, okay, just 1 more chapter. And then I ended up reading 6 chapters. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this book. The writing isn't perfect, but it's better than it was in the first book. So I think I can definitely see a lot of progress. And the enjoyability is definitely there. I am currently really enjoying it. And Heir of Fire, so I'm reading these 2 books. I have spring rolls in the oven. I have 20 minutes to just read. I did read about 15% of Perfect Addiction. and now I'm just gonna continue because I really want to finish it today. I really want to finish the book today. I finished my second book of the month, which was Perfect Addiction by Claudia Tan, and I wrote a review on Goodreads, but I'm gonna just read it quickly. First of all, I want to thank Claudia for sending me the ARC. And before I get into the review, you should pick this book up if you love sports romances, if you enjoy strong female characters, or heavier topics discussed such as grief, manipulative, abusive exes, emotionally abusive, or reading about like dysfunctional families. And my battery is flashing, god damn it. Okay, let's continue with my thoughts on the book and what I wrote in the review. So overall rating, I rated it 3 stars. And I think the writing definitely improved from book 1, but for me there's too much describing. I feel like the cover also doesn't represent the story or the mood that this book sets. I love how we were thrown right into the story with chapter 1, no waiting, just got right into it. I can also appreciate what some of the characters were battling with in this story and how their struggles affected the way they went on with their lives. At first I enjoyed Jax as a villain in this book, then later on I grew frustrated with him because I felt like he was too shallow and underdeveloped. While I still do agree that we as readers could benefit from knowing what drives him, what are his motives other than wanting to have complete control over Sienna, I think his role in the second part of the book kind of changes. He's no longer there just to drive the plot, but in the end he's there to put thoughts in the head of our main characters, Sienna and Caden. My dog, everybody. And that's what makes him so efficient, because he now has a psychological impact on them. He was like their ultimate test, a test for both of our characters to overcome their insecurities. Moving on to Sienna, who's our main female character. She fell a bit short for me at times. I loved her overall strength and her ability to hold her own, but she needed to grow a backbone during arguments, in her internal dialogues in particular. She was so worried about hurting other people and feeling guilty when sometimes she just needed to put herself first and stop feeling guilty. For example, for yelling at her sister for sleeping with her boyfriend. I mean, Sienna has the right to be angry at her sister for sleeping with her boyfriend. She is strong, but she's also deeply insecure. She's selling herself short half the time and doesn't see her worth. I also appreciated Sienna having her own friends like Kara and Alex, although we didn't get many scenes with them. In the end, my thoughts are that Caden needs to be protected at all costs. While his backstory again felt like a little bit cliche, I still love his character, and the execution of how he comes across on paper feels like a breath of fresh air. Despite going through these things, he's not a typical bad boy or a messy character. He's still a softy at heart and balances out Sienna's hard exterior very well. I think that's why them two together just work well. So yeah, not a bad book, but I'm excited to see the movie because I think it's just gonna bring this whole story to a whole new level. So that was my review basically. It wasn't a bad book, but I did rate it 3 stars, which honestly isn't a bad rating. So if you are enjoying sports romances, particularly MMA for this book, you might enjoy this one. So yeah, that's my review. Another book done. And now all I have left of currently reading right now is Heir of Fire, which I am on page 101 right now, I think. Yeah, 101. I reached 100 pages out of what, 600? Okay, 550. I am 59% done with Heir of Fire, and this used to be my favorite book, but I am so not into fantasy right now and different point of views. If there is something in the book that I absolutely hate, it's different point of views. And at this point, I only like Selena's point of views. I'm only going to be reading Selena's point of views from now on because I can't be bothered. I don't want to read anything else. I don't care. This used to be my favorite series. But my reading taste changed a lot. I'm not enjoying any books at all. There's not even a formula that I can follow where I can say, oh, this genre I know that I'm gonna like, or oh, this author is a trusted author, I know that I'm gonna like them. Because even the authors that I used to love, Sarah J Maas, now I'm struggling. Who am I? I'm having an identity crisis, and it's been going on for like 2 years now. Hi, I did something. Listen, I know I said in the last clip that I have an identity crisis, but I didn't mean I have an identity crisis and now I have to dye my hair. I'm not having that kind of crisis. I'm doing fine, okay? I just needed to dye my hair. Let's be honest, the blonde with the roots was horrible. I needed to update it. It looks more red than it is. It's actually purple, but it comes off on camera as red for some reason. I am going to finish Heir of Fire today. I feel like every time I picked up this camera, I said I'm going to finish it today. I cannot be bothered with it. And so many times I actually deleted that clip because it was just getting repetitive. But I'm actually finishing it today. I have 100 pages left. I only am reading Selena's chapters. I'm skim reading the other ones for important information. So technically, I am still reading the entire thing. I'm just skimming most parts. Now it's the showdown part of the book where shit gets real, and you know, if you read this book, you know. I'm really not looking forward to Queen of Shadows because it's not as good as Heir of Fire, and even now I can't get through Heir of Fire. Maybe I should just DNF Throne of Glass entirely because I know my mind is not at capacity to read any fantasy books. So I'm not trying to be difficult. I just can't focus. Yeah. That's that. I just need easy reads, something that I can get through easily because my attention and all these heavy words, it's just a lot. But thank you for listening to this update and to listening to me ramble on constantly. By the way, oh, one last thing. I'm going on vacation next week, so that's why I'm trying to rush with Heir of Fire. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. I could leave it at 5 because technically under these circumstances, I'm not in the mood for a fantasy, therefore it's not the book's fault. It's still my favorite in the series. Now, you know what? 4 stars. I'm gonna give it 4 stars at the end. So yeah, in this video you watched me read The Storm, Perfect Addiction, and Heir of Fire. It took me 2 weeks to finish all 3 books, which is a shame because I should have read these sooner. Anyway, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. 3 books is fine. It's great. Awesome. I already filmed my vacation TBR. It's already up. You can check it out if you want to see which books I'm taking on vacation with me. We leave on Wednesday. Today is Friday. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Let me know what you think of my hair. I promise you, in real life, it's purple. But this just looks red. I don't know why. It doesn't look purple, but it is. I promise. Okay, I'm gonna go. Have a lovely, lovely day. And I'll see you next time. Bye!